Parkour!
Yeah, we gonna go up. ibibigay ko ang aking puso sa pag-abot na pangarap dito. Handa kong harapin ang lahat, yeah, kahit pa imposible.
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield, and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are here taking a look at SB19's track Go Up. We have a music video and a dance practice to take a look at here. I am celebrating 19,000 subscribers on YouTube by doing this marathon, and I think that's freaking awesome. I love the fact that we're doing this, and I'm excited to continue to learn more about this group as we go through their discography. I'm ready, I hope you are. Let's go.
Yeah, we gonna go up. Yeah, we gonna go up.
Nothing like dancing on the rooftop. Come on now. Now something I'm curious about, are they going to show rookie energy like I normally see in K-pop? Well, ow. These zoom-in shots. Vroom. Uh-oh. We have two light hair colored people. That's hard. Parkour! Ooh, that's a fun track. And look, they pointed up and they said go up. And they're at the top of a building, which is up there. It's high. So that was really fun. I'm really excited for this dance practice. Gosh, first dance practice of a discography. Always hits in a great way, right? Ooh, come on. I can get with these outfits, black and white. Nice. So far, everyone sounds pretty decent. Like, the ballad was nice, but that's a nice vibrato for that section. have a inkling of where they're getting their inspiration from here. Gotta go up. His tone's nice there. Hey, come on now, with the bounce. Definitely versatile. Rap doesn't sound awkward. With a fun little finish. That was tiring, right? So let's play a game, shall we? Because it's not a rare thing, but I don't encounter it too often where I am completely going in blind on a group when it comes to their discography, just having a sense of awareness of movement quality or anything. Like, I really have not seen anything outside of what you guys are watching me see. I know like 2 names. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a list of all the names of the members, but I'm not going to affiliate the name to the person yet. Like, find the picture to the person. I'm going to guess who is who just based off of what vibe they give off to the name that we have. So please hold. Okay, I have names. So firstly, SB19 stands for Sound Break 19. That's fun fact. So we have a guy named Philip, or also known as Ken. We have somebody named STELL, or Stelvester. Justin, Josh Cullen, which gives me vampire vibes. It's a vibe. And then Pablo, but his first name is Sean. Okay, who is who? I think the best bet I have would be guessing STELL, because I think I guessed him right before because of the context of a previous video. So I'm going to say... Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay, I think that's STELL. So we have him. Boom, marked off. We have a Philip somewhere. He's giving... Oh my gosh, hold on. Philip. Let's say this guy's Philip. Sure. He gives a Ken. He gives a Philip vibe, not a Ken vibe. He gives a Ken vibe. So we're going to say maybe either of these guys. Okay, Justin. Who gives a Justin? He gives Justin vibes. Josh. He looks like a Josh. He looks like a Josh. He looks like a Josh. And then Pablo. Who's a Pablo? Who would be Pablo? Oh my gosh. Let's make him Pablo. Because I don't see any of them as a Pablo or a John. We're going to make him that. Okay, so those are my guesses. I think this is STELL. Let's call him Philip. And let's call him Josh. Whoops. And then Justin. And then Pablo. Sure. That's my guess today. I'm going to be so wrong. But that's what makes this really fun. Because I mean... How would I know? I mean, I could probably Google it, but I'm going to see them more like recent looks, so I think that's going to help. Okay, here we go from the top. First analysis with SB19 with their own discography. I'm ready. Okay, so from the top, we go up, so they're ascending from a low position to a higher position. Going up is an action, and so showing that in movement makes sense. They choreographed this themselves. That's something that I read in the description. This does give me heavy BTS influence. I do know that they are inspired by BTS because of their Ampon Men cover that I've already been able to take a look at. It's on Patreon and it's on the playlist on YouTube as well. You can go watch it. It's just not public or in the compilation. And I see a lot of crew affiliation, syncopation choreo that I was seeing with BTS in their earlier eras. So that's why this doesn't give the impression, which, fun fact, I'm currently in this era of BTS's marathon, the 2019-2020 era, which is where this has gotten released. This gives rookie, early comeback era of BTS. So I wanted to be very clear on what specific era I'm referencing, but anyway, I digress. They did a pretty decent job. It makes me very excited to see if they choose to continue to choreograph their own stuff, how their artistic vision as a group tailors to themselves as artists, not to their inspirations, right? Because that's always your goal as an artist, is it's okay to be inspired and to be influenced by, successful things around you and people, but you want to be able to have your own lane and your own vein of perspective. And so that's what makes it a very interesting baseline, is that this is their choreography we're referencing from the jump, which is cool. Anyway, but moving on from there, so I like the slide out of it, which is cool. The little snaps where we're choosing to slide an accent looks really nice. And then we have switch, doom, doom, and then we have tension on that with the piano strong out, or whatever sound that is, and they're holding that out dynamically, which is really nice. He goes switch up on the arms. I like to switch off on the positions with everybody. And then we're gonna go up. And so a lot of our motions are tailored upwards, whether it's something subtle like the head or something more full like the arm. Both look very nice, and I like the variety there. So you have the crisp. So in order to how we're interpreting that sound, that there's a little bit of a little echo reverb after it. They're using that to help with transition. So I'm kind of noticing that off the top here. So do a nice V, so come on with the chest, we do a little slide out of it, and then we have a rebound out of it, good levels. For a group of 5, a lot of times it's going to be easier for us to find features because you have an even number that can help with, symmetry and balance. And so having a level in the front, they don't inherently have to do that, really, because they have, 5 people and no one's going to get hidden away. A lot of times when you see somebody that's leveled lower and somebody leveled up right behind each other, you tend to notice it's an even number. But I like the fact that we're showcasing levels, we're showcasing really good dynamics, it's engaging from the top. It's just nice so far, which is cool, which makes me even more excited to see more recent work. If this is our baseline, I'm excited. So the reveal is nice, so they hit it out. Now this gives a BTS I Need You run, that kind of transition, because during that era, that's something that group was known for. So I think it's okay for me to be like, I'm seeing a lot of BTS inspiration. I know that is just based off of what I've been able to glean so far, that is an inspiration for the group. BTS is a great group to be inspired off of. And we've already kind of established, we're going to see major progress here, which is also another reason why I'm totally fine with saying this. So I like the arms, the bleed out of it. I like the arm swing to the outside. He says little moment, and then we toss, and we show those arms forward, and then we have our arms bleed across the face, which is nice. We reveal. They have a nice full choice with the arms, and they go accented to the inside. Then have your feature. He's standing. Everybody else is more catered in angle with the legs as well as with the torso to the outside, which is nice. And then we have a pull, which is also really fun. The switch is cool. And then we have this motion here with the hands, and then we have the piano in the back, is what I'm hearing here. Ba, ba, more so syllables. We're going to go off of how he talks there or sings, and they get low, and then the next group gets low. And then he takes his arm, his fingers up to the hand. Everybody takes the hand, and then they add the finger secondly, so that was a subtle add-on, which is cool. Twinkle that finger in. Here we go. We drop low. Now we have another inverted V, a little reveal. I like the pulse of the drive going on to the outsides, and then have your feature moving forward with the arms. Come on, accent with the elbows. We love it. They take the arms, bring them out, fold the wrists down. Then he takes the arms and he tosses them up. Really fun. And then accent with the arms to the outside, cross it, to some subtle syncopation going off of how he's singing and the rhythm of his vocals, which works. So they have a little pop accent there, which I find to be fun. They said, come here, and then they move to a new spot. So we have a lot of transitions to new spots. Sometimes it's choreographed, sometimes it's just a, hey, you have this amount of time to get to your next spot. Both work pretty well so far. So they open the arms out, and then we have the shoulders. When it comes to self-choreograph, they did a pretty decent job on showcasing variety of levels and your formations and reveals. I think those are pretty nice. And then having that where you have your first group step out and then your next group steps out and then they mirror each other to help with a transition again. Really nice. Then you have your feature. He went first, then everybody dropped more adjacent to your feature here. These guys go in one group and these guys go in one group. So we always have a mirror or somebody that is the same distance from center to the other side, around the same, same distance from the front as well, work well. But in this case, you would have these two are in the same line, he's in his own line, and then these two are in the same line, but these two went in the same timing. So we were going off of this 2-dimensional visual, not a deeper 3-dimensional visual, which is cool. It's nice to explore both. So they take the leg, the kickball change, that right there. Oh goodness, that's such an old school BTS era thing, GRV thing. That's so fun. Then we go to the column and then we punch it. Gonna go up. He has up and then we punch it. Present those arms, a little V-step behind. They fold in, click, click, with the folding of the wrists to the elbows. Then we have the arms, swing them around into the placement on the chest. And then they end up taking a little pas de bourrée, entertaining a fixed point with those arms as they showcase that. Then they end up making the torso move low, low, high, and then having the arms complement that. Yeah, so they swing up to present one of our arms prepped to the front. And then we immediately go back to an inverted V with your feature, travel the arms to accent outside. Then they reverse the direction to face towards the inside, and then they bring it to the end, and then they all face to the front. You have your feature on the ground, everybody else has jumped, and then they hear that crash in the music, the crash wave sense thing, and they use that to help with the transition new feature. So he switches to so my feature only does one arm, everybody else has two arms. Nice way to keep him featured. And then you have your shoulder accent with tension. They regress the formation, they condense it. Everybody takes their arm, it's connected, except for your feature, he doesn't. So there's really subtle modifications that your features are making to still look cohesive with the group, but they are doing just enough to where we can clock them. When it comes to cleanliness, it is a normal amount of cleanliness for a rookie-based group in a structured pop environment or an Asian pop environment. I'm normally used to seeing that unless you're with XL Tribe, with J-pop. That side, they tend to really focus on individuality and not synchronicity. So I know that as a collective over there, but here I'm kind of there's some assumption operating of, okay, based on our inspirations, based off of, you know, what we're tying into the structures, K-pop tends to lean more in the cleanliness and synchro in comparison to individuality. Normally you encounter that later on in the stuff. So for this, it doesn't give rookie energy. I don't know. I would say I'm able to see some pretty clear dynamics, and there's a lot of choices being made. Like, it's not all one volume, so we're going to give them props for that. I think that's pretty good. We're able to see some breadth in some of our volume choices of presentation. We're looking pretty good. Arms rotate rotate up and around. Gonna go up. Then we swing the arm, which is cool. They fold it in, so we have some subtleties with our fold downs of our wrist. Then you have your member, he goes, hey, I'm over here, stage left, everybody else is facing stage right. I like reveals of features this way. It's just nice. You're not always having to focus on the center and justifying your feature, sometimes opposing directions, and creating a big enough space between your group in your feature allows for us to be able to know that they're intentionally outside of the spacing threshold that we're used to seeing with the rest of the group. Counter, what is it, like against the current, right? So they take it and then they are able to get him very cleanly back to this diagonal with equal spacing. Spacing goes a long way. It helps make those visuals more clear, especially when you're switching formations as often as they are in this track. So they have their arm folded up to the head. They rotate it around. They hit the arms, and then we rotate. Gonna go up, boom. I like the accent with the chest or uses of the chest. We go, new formation. And the bow and arrows, nice with the pickups, are cool. And they hit, click, click, click. They triple it, and then they hinge it around, which is also really nice. And he points, boom, come on now. He goes, pop off. And we move. Once again, another little trotting to our next spot kind of energy on that. Then we have our feature. He's in the center. Everybody else is facing back. So we're using different facings to establish who our feature is. He could be all over, you know, on a mountaintop over yonder, and we could probably clock him. Not really. I'm just being silly. But my point is, he doesn't have to be center for us to know he's featured because he's the outlier because of facing. If we're looking at somebody and they're looking at us and they're the only person looking at us, we're naturally going to focus on them more than those who are not. So they take the arms, they ball change it. So I like the drop around, good way to showcase your feature on that. The ball changes, or I think, yeah, I would say a ball change to get a switch directionally and to do a subtle transition is cool. And I think we used the head there too, didn't we? Oh, it's more of like a head knock ISO to the side instead of knocking it from the top, and we're actually going off of the neck and isolating it over to the side, which is cool. Then your feature, he took his arms up and made it give a subtle sense of control of the rest of the group. So they get low, then they swing the arms, and then we end up taking it up to the head, knock the head, travel it back, which is also nice. Come on, little Dougie energy there. And then we knock onto the head. Same thing again, but then they send it over the second time, so we're not repeating it twice in a row. About 3/4 of the way was shown again, but we ended up making it more full that second time. We knock it, which is cool. Let's go. He says, wata. Really nice energy here from your feature. We have my guy move out of the way, and then we have a level low. So this is a fun way of having somebody covered up based off of function. But he technically didn't get covered up. I mean, the whole group did. And so it was a feature reveal. A lot of times when we look at even number groups, and the K-pop scene is where most of my analysis has stemmed from in group choreography. A lot of times when you see somebody hidden by somebody else, the goal is for that to be functional in nature, where at some point in this section we're clocking an absence of one person, that it's either these people are going to drop down or move out of the way to reveal this person. So it feels intentional and not we're just covering them up because we want symmetry. Because there's been a couple debuts I've encountered where that has been the case, and based off of pushback from fans, as there should be, we have a different ending, which I appreciate. So this felt very functional because your previous feature was more in front, and then when he walks away, we have our next feature already popping off, sending people which ways to different positions, which is cool, different levels. I like the fold in. So we're doing really good about being clear on our wrist. I think sometimes we're curving a lot, so it's just a subtle wrist flexibility thing. If you wanted a really clean line there, I don't know if we're going stylized. That's just, we don't actually know for that. We rotate to the inside. Well, not really rotating. We rotate with the body to the inside, but we have these accent staccato positions going on with our arms. And then we take the arms here, we toss them to spread this formation out. Now look, it's symmetrical. Isn't that fun? Hit, and I think it talks about it's in our blood, right? So I love that. Success is in our blood. I love that. And the taps there. It's cool. It's ice in my veins is a fun little viral equivalence to that, right? So we switch it over. I like how he knocks it onto the chest, and then we have my next feature. He pulls in into a column. They all open out. Now this is something, even though it's a different choreography sequence, the basis of the transition is something we have already seen before. We go from a column to a reveal, but they did a pretty good job. And then they go shoulders low to high, and then we have our arms kind of fixed pointed where they are. And then he pulls it, come on with a kickball change, and they use it going to the inside, which is nice. There's your column again, and now we've inverted the V, but now it's more of like I call this like a trapezoid formation. Plus the arms, same thing as before, rotating it through. Boom, boom, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, ba-da-da-da. So I like those isolation. Speed change, and I like how he said, wee, going from stage left to stage right. Arms go up, they cross, bring it down. A little angsty moment. And then he hits it, boom, and then I think we sweeped that leg around, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, we sweep it, boom, knock the head low, gonna go up. So they take the arm, boom, we pull, love that, knock it, And then we're all intertwining, intermingling. So I like this moment, this group connection moment. It's good to see. Sometimes it's cool to keep everybody like in their own little space, but it's nice to know, hey, they're an actual group that can touch each other, right? Like I can touch your shoulder, or I can touch your leg, or we can hug, and that's fine, right? It makes it feel like a group. Just cool. We're connected. We want to have that connection, so that was good. Good choice to have in that moment because we've dropped out some of our timbres and tonal colors, meaning some of our sounds that we have had encountered in the track. We have them a little bit pulled out, so we're able to focus on the vocals a little bit more, prioritize that. And so having more absence of movement and more connection allows us to connect to the lyrics a little bit better. So we have the arms, toss it. Come on with just the walk on tempo. We're here for that. I love that because we're not just walking. We're walking and we're filling up the space in between the steps that go on those counts that they're wanting to reference. Then it's a subtle polyrhythm where we're going on one pocket in the music, so it goes on pocket 2, which is what this transition is, and then the arms are going more pocket 3. So when I'm talking about pockets, they're timings. So the steps are happening on the 2 and the 4, so on even counts for this. Just kidding. Odd counts, which is what pocket 2 technically is. 1, 2, 3, 4. They would go on the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7, and then the arms are syncopating on his words. Nah, completely lied to you. See, now I missed it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just kidding. It's going on the ta-ta-ta-ta sound. So whoever's in center, he has the job of 3-part polyrhythm. This is going on pocket 2. This is going on pocket 3. And then his vocals are going on outside of pocket. So it's a 3-part polyrhythm. And yeah, where your timings are all different. You have your legs going on the 1, 3, 5, and 7. You have the arms going 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you have the vocals going on everything else. We love it. Anyway. Okay, the arm, I like the little wave of the pickup. It's cute with the leg. Then we have the arms, we fold them. So we have a little breath in our arm choice, and then we fold to make it a little bit more firm, more rigid. And then he rotates those wrists, and they all tailor to the outside. Safe way to keep your feature. This is not our first rodeo with the column. We've already seen it quite a few times, but how do they get out of it? It's a diagonal with an angsty arm. That's fun. So most of the time they either go into a V, they invert it, they make a little trapezoid. So every time they get out of the column, it is something different, either in the choreography, in the dynamic, or in the actual positioning of the formation. So I like that choice. Boom, accent with the arms. The bounce is fun. He said pop off over stage right. So he goes against the current, and then instead of joining in on this side, which is what the last diagonal, 2 diagonals ago we were seeing, if I'm remembering right. That's nice. So I like that he kicks, everybody turns out of it. Good for them for all being able to execute it similarly, because you don't want everybody to be great and then one person super off, because then it just takes away from the beauty of the visual. So everyone did a really good job for that. Then they take the leg, they tap it, so they have to use the back arm as leverage or an anchor to lift up those hips, to lift that leg so they could tap it. So that was cool. Positioning is subtly different with my 2 guys on the outside and then my 2 on the inside are similar, which is interesting. They end up taking it onto the knee. They're bringing the arms down, and I like having my feature here. He complemented their arms that are on the ground with his up top. They end up taking the heel, tapping it, and this is something that has nothing to do with the dance, but you must be curious what this is. That is a bar. So that a lot of times you see people do bar work. Ballet is when you would encounter this. The two heights are a lot of times, what I was taught, could be so wrong here, is depending on like how old you are or how tall you are determines which one you use. And then sometimes depending on the stretch or the exercise, you may need to use one over another. So that's just a fun little fact, little tidbit there, nugget for if you've studio trained in ballet, that should be familiar to you. But if you've never known what that was, that's what that is. Anyway, so moving on. So they take the arms, they cross it, uncross it, they point with the gun to the front, and then you have your feature. He pulls back, he's presenting himself forward. Everybody else tailors their bodies with speed change back. So we have that kind of being our best friend in all of this, is our transitions, our formation changes, the quickness of those, as well as our speed change to allow a feature to be seen because they're the outlier movement. They cross, so they switch it. Now, was that a ripple? maybe? He goes, da-da, and it goes inside, outside is what it clocked it as. We're gonna go and do that, but notice it is a bleed, so we're holding our movement to fill to his high note, which is nice. And I like that he did a little fold of his little gun situation. Come on, high note, so they hit it, boom, this move, boom, da, da, da. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. That move, who's done that before? I've seen that before. I can't clock which choreography. I know there's a later choreo that I learned with Dreamcatcher's Justice. They have that, do-do-do-do-do, but we've seen that referenced many times over. So that's a fun accent with a sense of, airtime, which is really fun. And so now we're in an inverted V. We love it. We take the arms. The pulls are nice. The punch, double. And then we end up knocking the shoulder, reaching the arms, twinkles it in, they all reset, and then notice everybody's facing front except for your feature here. He is tilted or more diagonal, even though we're all looking front. He's the outlier, so we're going to want to focus on it, which brings about the point of, this is why it's important for those who are not the feature to make sure they're on the same page if it's supposed to be unison for them, because let's say my guy right here was facing this way too. I would focus on both of them instead of who I needed to, which is my feature, which is why where your body faces matters. Anyway, but take the arm, they reach it up and down, and we toss it. Come on now, and they hop it. Then we take the arms, cross, uncross, and he has a little moment with a pull of the shoulder. And then we rotate the arms, and then we have a position here. Is this their call sign? Is this the SB19 logo? I don't know. And then they go up, they take it, they rebound it, using it to help with the transition again. Then they take the hands, fold. We've already seen this choreo, but how it's structured is a little different in where they are in positioning and formation. So then we have a little reveal again. We've already seen that, but it feels like a reintroduction of that section. Then he gets absorbed into it. Yeah, so all that is the same as what we saw the first go around, which is nice. They're consistent, great stamina regulation. We love to see that. Go up, bring it through. The toss is nice into a little bow and arrow. And then they brush the arm. Come on, hinge. He says, here we are. Love it. Go up. And then they reach it up. It's tiring. Whew. And they did it. So, once again, this makes me excited to see their more recent works because this is the beginning, right? And it only goes up from here most of the time. So it makes me look forward to it. It does look like we still have all 5 members going into the more recent works, which also makes it enjoyable because sometimes when you watch a group, you are like, oh, I know somebody's departing at some point. But here we know, at least up until this current point in time in 2025, and looking at this, we're going to be able to continue to see the group, as a group of 5, which is really nice. And I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing how they modify or adjust their choreography that tailors to them as artists. I think that's something that's going to be really cool to uncover. Yeah, this is great. You guys know me, I know you. I'm Jess. There's many more SB19s to come. Now we'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.